Hi, sixth grade music class at home. Welcome to another week. I'm going to try to give you a little bit of what we're doing in class this week to keep you kind of on the same level that we are here face to face. I know it's not the same, but we'll try to do the best we can. You do have a document that I gave to you in Schoology that you can look at. I'll show you what that looks like on the board. And you will have an assignment that I haven't actually put up there for you yet to do at home. You're going to be doing basically the same thing at home that the students here in class are going to be doing. But I need to create those documents for you. So just keep an eye on Schoology this week. You will have something that's due. Just don't have that ready for you yet, okay? And I'll send a message out about that. So this week we're going to start talking about actually how music is put together. We spent a little bit of time last week and the week before talking about sound in general and the scientific part of music and how it actually works. So this week we're going to start looking at how it's actually created. So when we talk about music, we divide music, when we think of a song, we divide the song up into three basic parts, okay? We talk about the rhythm of the song, and the rhythm is the patterns of how the notes are put together, whether they're short or long or fast or slow, and that helps us to understand what the song is and to remember how the song actually goes. If every song had the same beat, it would be incredibly boring. So the rhythm adds a little bit of interest to what we listen to. Another part of music is what is known as the melody, and some people refer to that as the tune of the song, okay? So, for example, if I clap this rhythm of a song that you probably are familiar with, it would go like this. And you might recognize that song as being Jingle Bells, just from the rhythm. The melody then would be the part that we hear that goes along with that rhythm. So we would hear this. So we would hear that rhythm and that melody together, and that would become the song we know as Jingle Bells. Now, if we didn't have the rhythm, then the song would sound like this.
Jenna Giles, please come to the main office. Jenna Giles, please come to the main office.
There would be no notes that were longer or shorter or faster or slower, and every song would have that same rhythm to it. So melody and rhythm work together to tell us how a song is, to help us recognize those songs. And then there's a third part that we're really not going to spend a lot of time on in sixth grade music called the harmony. And that's basically all the other stuff that goes into a piece of music. It's, when we talk about music, it's the chords that are in the background behind the song. It's the beat of the drums that are in the background. It's all the other instruments that are playing. If we have people singing, it would be people singing different parts or a harmony part that goes along with it. So we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on that, but we are going to spend a couple of weeks on rhythm, and we are going to spend several weeks on melody. And for those of you at home, all of you at home, when we get to this point, I'll show you how you can actually play a keyboard on your Chromebook, and you can actually join in with us even though you won't have an actual physical keyboard there to play, okay? So let me show you the document that we're going to be working with. And you have this up in your Schoology, okay? It's called Sixth Grade Rhythm Basics, all right? You'll see it right in your Schoology dashboard. And this is the document that we're going to be talking about for a couple of days and what your assignment at home is going to be based on, okay? So when we talk about music, one of the concepts we talk about is the beat, okay? So the beat of the song is steady and it keeps going and it doesn't change. It can get faster or slower depending on the song, but as far as the melody goes, it doesn't change. So the beat of Jingle Bells is this. It doesn't change at all. It doesn't go faster, it doesn't go slower, the notes aren't closer together. The melody, however, on top of it, and the rhythm on top of it, is different. So if I take the beat and put the melody with it, we would get bum 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 bum. So the notes go faster and slower and hang on in some places according to the beat, but the beat never changed through that whole thing. It's that steady recurring pulse. The rhythm then is that pattern of sound and silence, and that's how we organize music together, okay? Now, the next thing we talked about today, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on, is the notes and values. So when we talk about music, music is a language, just like any other language, okay? If I write a word up here on the board in a different language, so if I write, let me bring my pen back up here. So if I write on the board this word, okay, that's German, Guten Tag, which means basically good morning. Now, if I know how to read German, I would know what those words mean together. But if I don't know how to read German, that would mean nothing to me. The same thing is true when we talk about music. If I know how to read music, I can then play it on the piano or play it on an instrument, or I can sing it because I understand the language of music. So when we get into music, these notes that you're going to see here, let me turn my pen back off so I can move this. So these notes are the notes that we actually are going to be using. And there are lots more, but we're only going to talk about 5 notes, okay? We're going to talk about a whole note, a half note, a quarter note, an eighth note, and a 16th note. There are more notes. There are 32nd notes and 64th notes and 128th notes, and there are all kinds of combinations of notes you can put together. We're going to focus on 5 basic notes and 5 basic rests that go along with these notes, okay? So I'm going to go through this sheet with you. The first part of the sheet, there's more to it, all right? We'll get to the rest of it later on. There's a whole second page, but we're just going to focus in on this page today and these 5 notes to get you started, all right? So we're going to make an assumption to make life easy. We're going to talk about music that only has 4 beats in a measure. And it'll make it a little easier for us to understand how these notes are created. So a whole note is just an oval. Now when it's actually printed in music, so you'll see here this whole note, when it's actually printed, it's very fancy. It has like one side that's thicker and the other side that's thicker like this. When we draw whole notes, we're not going to be fancy at all. We're just going to draw an oval, all right, just an oval shape. And that oval shape means that it gets the whole measure. That's why it's called a whole note. It gets the whole measure. And with that assumption that we're going to be talking about 4 beats, that means that the whole note's going to last for 4 beats. It's going to get the whole measure, the entire measure. If we divide the measure in half, we're going to take the whole note, we're going to take the oval of the whole note, and it says the half note looks like a whole note with a line added called a stem. So we're going to draw a whole note, and then we're going to add this line to the side of it called a stem. Now it can be drawn either that way going up or this way going down. And it's now a half note, so it gets half of the measure, or 2 beats. So the name comes from the fact that it's half of a whole note. And if we divide the numbers in half, we go from 4 beats to 2 beats. So a whole note's worth 4, sorry. and a half note's worth 2. If we divide it in half again, we've now divided our measure into quarters. And it says the quarter note looks like a half note with the note head filled in. So you would draw a half note, and then you would fill in the body of it like this. And if we put it with the stem going the other way, it would look like this. And we're going to divide the whole into quarters, which is where the name comes from. And now each one of those quarter notes gets 1 beat. If we divide it in half again, we're going to divide the measure into 8 parts, or what we call eighth notes. And it says the eighth note looks like a quarter note with a flag on the side. So again, now we're going to draw a quarter note, and we're going to add this thing called a flag to the side, and if we do the note going the other direction, it looks like that. And the hard part to understand here is we've gone from 4 beats to 2 beats to 1 beat, and now if we divide that 1 beat, we're going to have notes that are a half of a beat. So 2 eighth notes can happen at the same time as 1 quarter note. And they're often in pairs, so what we do is we combine them together, and instead of having 2 eighth notes that look like this with the 2 flags on, we get rid of the flags on the side and we add a line across the top. And that's called a beam. So important notes here are the note head, which is the round part, the oval part, the stem, the note head filled in, and then a flag, and then when we put the flags together, we use what's called a beam. Okay? Now I'm going to shift this whole thing up, so I'm going to erase all of that so I can move the screen up a little bit. And then finally, the last one we have are 16th notes. And our 16th notes means we've divided the measure up into 16 pieces. We've gone from the whole measure to half the measure to quarter of a measure to an eighth of a measure to a 16th of a measure. So 16th notes look just like the eighth note did, except we add another flag to it. And then if we have 4 of them together to make it easier to read, we will get rid of all of those flags and we'll combine them together like this. And we'll draw all 4 notes, and then we'll put 2 lines across the top, or 2 beams across the top to tell us that it's the 16th note. And there can be other notes. We can go even further. We can go to a 32nd note, which means we add another flag. We can go to a 64th note, which means we add another flag. We can go to a 128th note, which means we add another flag, okay? And we're not going to go that far. We're just going to use the 5 basic notes: whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, 16th note, okay? So all I want you to do for this week right now is take a look at this document on your own, read through it on your own, watch this video, which will give you a little bit of the basics, and then tomorrow I'll add some new stuff for you to do this week as we go through this rhythm unit together, okay? Have a good week. If you have any questions, send me a message in Schoology.